Good morning. It's Saturday and it might be a little early to talk about alcohol, but I know that a lot of you like to fit an alcoholic beverage into your weekend. And so in this video, I want to explain to you how to have an alcoholic drink without sabotaging your fat loss. So first of all, you need to know, I'm all about flexible dieting, and so no food or drink should be off limits. But there's a consequence to everything. So as long as we're fitting that alcohol in within a few parameters, we can do it and we can still hit your fat loss goals. So let's know that you need to know that carbs have 4 calories per gram. Protein has 4 calories per gram. Fat has 4 calories per gram, and alcohol has 7 calories per gram. So that's an important fact that we need to know a little bit later when I talk to you about how you fit that alcohol into your daily plan. So, but you need to know that alcohol is metabolized different than carbs, fat, and protein, and it goes directly through the liver. And so it gets preferential treatment. So if you're going to have an alcoholic drink, then all fat loss gets put on hold. And that's okay if you do enjoy an alcoholic drink and it helps you stay the course by, letting loose on the weekend and having a drink or two. But you need to manage your expectations about how slow or fast your fat loss will be. And I'm all about healthy lifestyle changes that are sustainable. So if having a drink once in a while is part of your regular lifestyle, let's fit that in so that you're not going nuts and just be like, because I'm not about dieting, I'm all about, healthy lifestyle changes that are sustainable. So let's just talk about how you can have that drink without blowing everything. But just know that having a drink will slow down your fat loss results. So there's a couple things that you can do. If you're counting macros, I'm going to give you a formula for counting macros and being able to keep keep within your macro allotment. But I'm also going to just give some general tips if you're not counting macros, just some general tips on having a drink. And one of them is just to enjoy the event, the experience, focus on the people, the event, rather than the food or the drinks. That's the most important thing, is to enjoy yourself rather than just focusing on the food or the drinks. Secondly, you want to hydrate. So for drinking lots of water before the event or before your alcohol, lots of water after. So hopefully you won't be having more than 1 or 2 drinks, but every alcoholic beverage that you want to have an equal amount of water, because alcohol is a diuretic and it's going to it's going to dehydrate you. Probably it's best to eat protein over carbs and fat when you're drinking because they're less likely to be shuttled directly into storage. And drink clear alcohols like vodka, gin, tequila over dark spirits. Red wine is probably less sugar content than white wine, and all things in moderation. I'm all about moderation. And the one really important thing is to just keep the calories out of the mix. So you're going to try and stay away from those slushy drinks, any drinks with like cream in them. So try and keep your alcohol, the mix, very clean and calorie free. So now if you count macros, this is how you're going to have an alcoholic drink and still stay within your macro allotment. Now remember that alcohol doesn't have any nutritional value, and so if you are having a drink, you're going to have to take away some of your carbs and fat probably from the day. So you might go a little hungry because those calories have to come from somewhere. And when you're adding, like if you're using MyFitnessPal, if you add a glass of wine or whatever you're drinking into MyFitnessPal or a calorie counting app, it probably will measure calories, but it won't come up with any macros, so it's a little bit confusing. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to figure out, and you can Google this, you can find out how many calories are in the drink that you're going to have. So let's say you're going to have 120 calories of wine. So now those macros have to come from somewhere. So you can take them out of your carb allowance or of your fat allowance. So for example, 120 calories of wine, if you're going to take them out of your your carb allowance, you're going to count that as 30 grams of carbs, or if you're going to take it out of your fat allowance, it's going to count as 13 grams of fat. And that way, if you can count those calories as part of your macros, because remember, alcohol is a macro all of itself. It's got 7 calories per gram. So the fact is that, like I said, to keep within those macro allowances, because it's not going to be counted on your macro counting app, those macros have to come from somewhere. So you're probably going to go a little bit hungry during the day, or the day that you're going to have a drink. And you know what? That's fine. If you always just have to measure the cost and benefit ratio of, having a drink. And sometimes it's worth it to, if you want to go and celebrate something with your friends, but you want to stay within your macro allowance for that day, just take some of those macros out of your carbs or your fat, but know that, you might be a little bit hungry during that day. So my point is, nothing is off limits. The way that we can kind of stick with our plan is to, as soon as you have something off limits, it's the first thing that you want, that you crave or that you want. So if you fit in, if you want to fit in that glass of red wine sometimes, then you just might be hungry, or there's just a little bit of a consequence for it. So I wanted to address the idea of alcohol, because a lot of my clients have asked me about it, and some have even said, hey, but I entered it into my Fitness Pal and it fit in for my day. But that's because it counted the calories but not the macros. And for those of you that aren't counting macros, that's totally fine too. Just know that you want to probably back off on the carbs and the fat that you're eating that day, because of the extra calories from the alcohol. And then especially once you're drinking, a lot of times it lowers our inhibitions, and so we're more likely to be having something to eat. So have a little self-control, and know that if you're going to drink, you're probably not, don't order the nachos. Life is all about balance. And so I wanted to address, especially on a Saturday, on a weekend, the fact that lots of us do want to have an alcoholic beverage. You can fit it in. If you have some questions about how you can balance your nutrition and still meet your fat loss goals, especially women over 40, I'm your girl. DM me. All right? Have an awesome day.